What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dumpster Fire Podcast. Today we'll be talking about movies and cinema and the movies that we have watched in our lives that have really stuck with us and surpassed what we believe they could have been. So, coming to you today is my name's Keith, and I'm joined by my co-host Gordon over here.
Hey, how's everyone going?
Yeah, going. So, first movie on the list, or docket, I should say, because we each came prepared with a few movies. I slacked a little on my part, but I'm prepared. I swear to God, I'm prepared. You want to start it off, Gordon? What movie you want to talk about first?
Honestly, let's talk a little bit about the movie called Lucy.
Lucy? That's a good one. I love that movie.
Because even though it wasn't my favorite movie...
Not an all. I would say it's never. Lucy's never been an all-time favorite, I think, of anyone's movies, really. But it's one of those movies that when you watch it, you're like, oh shit, there's so much to be said about this one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like Space Odyssey did it way, way better. Lucy was just that side where it was like kind of understanding more of, just how much we use of our brain and the potential kind of what ifs if we could unlock more and more core of our brains.
Well, when you watch that movie, it really makes you realize how little we know and how little we actually use our brains. Like we walk around like we think we're like the smartest creatures on the planet, right? But there's so much more to our brains that we don't even know like what it's capable of.
I mean, yeah, you look at Albert Einstein, right? Where they theorize as he was a big kind of shove to nuclear power.
Yeah, he had an IQ, I think, of 154.
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I know it's way higher than both of us.
Yeah, but yeah, so like, I believe it was an IQ of 154. My fact checker is gonna look that up real fast. We hired a fact checker, and his name is also Gordon. It's actually Gordon's brother, Gordon.
Right.
Yeah, but but Albert Einstein, he was a quite brilliant guy. E equals MC squared. That was his. He derived that formula for nuclear power and things like that. So what was his actual IQ? Was I in the ballpark?
160.
Oh shit, I was in the ballpark. I wasn't that far off. He had 160 IQ.
It's hard to place, but they're saying around there 153, 160.
So I was right there in the money, dude.
He was an intelligent person. From my understanding, though, was like he wasn't really good with basic math, but he was really good at advanced math.
Calculus, trigonometry, formulas.
Yeah.
That kind of math.
But 2 plus 2 doesn't compute. No, I'm just fucking with the guy.
2 plus 2 equals burrito.
Yeah.
No. 2 plus 2 equals my ass itches. Yeah, no, but
no, I enjoyed how the movie Lucy took place. I mean, you got the introduction of Lucy, which is theorized as the first female, the first.
Yeah, she was the first female, essentially.
Essentially.
Yeah, and as it goes through. I forget what exactly gave her. It was the that serum, right, that they put in her body.
Yeah,
the
it's
cartel
a serum that
a bag broke inside of her.
Babies get. It was
kind of like the you remember from that show Project Power, how they had those little pill canisters or whatever. Even in The Boys, they remember the serum that they had that would give them their powers. It was kind of like something like that. It was like a blue
CPH4.
Yeah, CPH4. And what exactly was that again?
Well, it's a fictional.
Yeah, it's a fictional substance, but
the
it was
way
like
they were calculated as is, like, let's say when you're a fetus and everything, that's like some of the formula that's given off from.
Oh, that's one of like the growth hormones that a fetus gives off, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe, dude. Maybe there's something real to that. Because why do pregnant ladies have like supersonic hearing and smelling and like
Superhuman.
Yeah, they're like superhuman rage and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is a thing to that. Maybe being pregnant gives you like some super abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and that was just the whole concept of the movie is like they found a way to break it down and make it as like a drug substance.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she had it like
in her torso.
Yeah, and then when she got punched, the bag exploded and some got into her system.
They were using her like a drug mule kind of to move this stuff.
Yeah.
And then she had a bag rupture in her belly. And then she gained superhuman knowledge, or was it almost like an AI intelligence kind of thing, where it's like she became omnipotent to some extent in a way.
Yeah, she unlocked more and more
of her processing power in her brain, like
yeah. So it went from 10
to 20, and then every scene that went by it was like, oh, now we're at 30%.
Yeah, and it's just like what they call it as, superstition, because we don't really know. I mean, dolphins have 20% to where they have they developed that whole sonic radar.
Yeah, which, sonar kind of thing. Whales have that too.
Yeah, which it's crazy because they developed it over time. It just wasn't something that they were supposedly like born with.
No, it's a developed ability.
And I found out that it is the most high-tech sonar, to the way like our military uses sonars and everything.
We try to mimic animals.
Yeah,
their sonar abilities, like bats. Bats do that thing where they can send out a sound that we can't hear, but they can hear it and it'll bounce off objects and come back to them.
Yes.
Wasn't that the whole plot behind Daredevil? Was sonar, like he could
where people like say once you lose one you gain extra and so.
Yeah,
so pretty much if you lose hearing, then you gain more on focusing and everything.
You're granted the eyes of a hawk.
The eyes of a hawk.
You could see titties from 10 miles away.
Heck yeah.
So moving back onto Lucy, so that was actually one of my favorite things about how they filmed that movie, was that how they went through every stage of the process of how it works, and then she'd be in the next stage, she'd be like, 30% intelligence, and then it would go to the next 10 minutes of the movie, and then like the next scene would be 40, she's at 40 now. And it got to a point where she needed more, otherwise she would die. Well,
she knew she was going to die, so, and that's where like it's not by far like even close to like my favorite movie, but the potential of it was really, really good.
Yeah,
the potential of understanding more of our cortex and shit like that, where
the frontal lobe, the the mangalata or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah,
like your chelada in your head.
Yeah, like I mean,
cerebral cortex.
The ending was just, to me, was more of a kind of, well, I'll be damned, because everything points to like technology. The way that technology advances is the more that it's just going to, either push our civilization either forward or backward. Yeah. Depending on how you,
I'm gonna, when it comes to technology, I kind of think right now we are at a technology's going forward, but we are kind of on a backhill slide a little bit, but I do think we'll come forward again. Like, I feel like through the generations, there's always been that kind of yin and yang where technology moves forward, humans kind of move back, then move forward with it. Kind of like the tides of the ocean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like this wave kind of thing. And because there'll be like a new super fancy piece of technology that comes out, and people are like, oh, this is too much, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, they're like, oh, we want something better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back to Lucy. My favorite part of the whole movie would be the ending when she hooks up to the what was that?
She takes in all the matter and like the building to turn herself into like a supercomputer.
Yes, yeah.
Because the whole time she's freaking out as her brain keeps on advancing.
Yeah, and she can't slow it down.
And she can't slow it down to where, and it's like a lot of like what if theories too. Yeah. I want to add that more especially because we don't know what exactly we'll be capable of doing.
Well, the fact that she was able to like freeze time with her brain, you know what I mean? Like she was able to like freeze time and go back and forth like through the like the almost like if you're on, it was on like camera footage and you go through the footage. She was able to do that. She was like, remember the scene in the street?
Yeah, she travels all the way back in time to where she meets the first ever primate Lucy.
Yeah. And makes me wonder though, because it's like if the first ever primate was essentially her in primate version, then could be said for the movie is that the whole time that was always meant to happen to her. Right?
Yeah, preordained or whatever.
Yeah, preordained kind of. Preordained? Yeah, right word. Kind of like a destiny thing. Like that was always going to happen. Oh, yeah. Essentially, it was like she was the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Of that line of intelligence.
Yeah. So I mean, at the pretty much the end, she just takes in fully. Unlocks 100% of, just using her whole brain. She makes herself into like a supercomputer and then pretty much turns into a freaking USB.
She turns into a micro USB.
And that's where like, I take parts of like, certain movies.
1 terabyte of data on that motherfucker.
Yeah. And I took it as like with what she did was the whole presentation of the whole entire movie was it was all just about technology, the best thing for her to do with her unlocking just the whole central power of herself was to pass it through generations and generations. I mean, it's just like this podcast, right? Yeah. I mean, this is only gonna go away if you just delete it. I don't think you...
So if I die, you're gonna continue the legacy on your own, or are you gonna finally drug and abduct John back, and then it'll be like, nah, you're in here now. Like,
well, I mean, this is
he died. You need to come back.
Well, I mean, it's just the fascinating thing. Like, I mean, you could still look up the very first YouTube video that was ever created. You could,
What was the very first YouTube video? See, now we have to tell the audience what the very first YouTube video was. God, that's a trip, dude. When did YouTube start? Was it 2003 or was it 2005?
Hold up.
That's right, my fact checker companion.
YouTube's first video just turned the big 20. It was April 23, 2005. And John Carwin uploaded a grainy 19-second video called Me at the Zoo.
Wow, isn't that something crazy?
So I'm just saying,
that's literally that guy's time capsule.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all of our time, capsule. This is going to be here until you say, I don't want it to be, and then just delete it.
Yeah. So whatever happens to don't worry if I ever die or anything, I'll make sure to sign over the podcast to you in my will. You'll gain full ownership, 100% ownership of the podcast. Right now we're 50-50, but
yeah.
And then once John comes back, then we'll all be 35 or whatever that is.
Yeah. No, so I mean that's the whole presentation of the movie that kind of pinpointed more on like technology by the end. You know.
Oh yeah, dude.
Lucy kind of figured out she wasn't going to make it, so the best way with the knowledge that she has was to bring it back to civilization in a USB so they would always have that knowledge going forward. And that's pretty much like, I mean, that was one of my favorite parts.
I was just about to ask you, what's your favorite part?
It was that, because I mean, it was just the saying of it, like, this is what it's all about.
Gordon's like, man, could you believe turning yourself into a computer must be nice?
No, it was just the overall presentation of it. I liked how it was, technology has always been that big amplifier now to our culture.
Yeah.
Would
you say the movie had a solid plot, or was there any holes in it for you? Because for me, I have a few holes.
I mean, yeah, the holes I have is just it's all like science fiction at the most part, is because we don't know what would happen if we could unlock like 100% of our brain.
Well, the thing is it even physically possible? Because like our brains do more than just process information. They help our brains control our sleep. They control our motor function. They control the artistic side of us, the analytical side of us. So it makes you wonder, maybe the physical thing, like me and you speaking to each other right now, our conscious is only 10% of our brain. What if there isn't even any more to unlock? What if this is it?
Well, and that's just the thing, there's always stories of, like, I mean, we brought up, Albert Einstein, do we measure what he was at with his brain, his IQ? Would we just say that was just a normal 10%? Or was that a little bit more? What about people that...
Oh, you're saying people who might have been born with a little bit more than the average bear.
Yeah, more than the average bear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just unknown. That was just the only hard part watching the movie, was it was just based off of the unknown. And some movies do it better than others.
Another movie that kind of gives me that kind of vibe. You ever seen the movie Upgraded?
Yes.
That movie kind of gives me similar vibes to Lucy, but not quite the same, in the same aspect of technology.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that comes close to my head and like Lucy was Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like, that was a fantastic movie.
I'm gonna let you give the rundown on that.
Yeah.
That was on my list and I failed to watch that movie. I fucked the dog on that one.
Well, the Space Odyssey, what made that so great was, one, when it came out, there wasn't a lot of movies like that. I mean, this was
1968.
1968?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that time...
And then the 2001 reboot.
Yeah, and at that time, it was... There wasn't a lot of movies like that. And the whole plot of it is, it starts off as, what some might theorize and some might object was, the dawn of...
of the beginning of time kind of thing? Or not the beginning of time, but the beginning of evolution.
Yeah, evolution. And
that movie pissed off a lot of Christians, I bet.
I mean, there's probably a lot of movies that...
motherfuckers.
There's a lot of movies that pissed off different cultures, religions, so on. But I loved it so much for the fact that they... The whole center of this movie was the monolith, was this, unknown, like, weird shaped kind of sculpture. You would look at as like, pretty much...
It was a big,
like
fancy Lego block.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a mysterious...
looked like it was made out of fucking carbonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows the dawn of mankind, how like primitive, people were like, like, can you imagine how crazy they went when they realized, oh, I could start a fire.
Well, just like the scene that you showed me in the movie, he got a hold of one bone and then realized I could murder with this.
Yeah, the first serial killer.
The first serial killer ever born was a 5'5" monkey.
And I mean, it's been a while since I watched Space Odyssey, but what I really liked about it was it started there with kind of that oh well, we're just dumb primitive apes, and then this monolith appears and slowly they start advancing. You'll have one that's like, oh, I could use bone to break bone, and then he's like, oh, this could be a use a weapon. Then you have
another monkey that's over there sparking rocks together, and it's like, oh,
I can make fire. Yeah.
And he's every single time he's like, you have another monkey over there realizing, oh, if I put rock on stick, crude tool.
Yeah. And the thing that's interesting is like from that point it like skips fucking thousands of years.
Probably a couple million years.
And then it goes to kind of like where we're almost at in our life. Because I mean, we already have AI,
Well, if you really look at the course of us, human beings have only been at the point that we're at, like of civilized beings, only a couple 100,000 years. So, where does that leave the whole rest of evolution from that point of view? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
All that time to where it leaves off in the Space Odyssey, where they're in like the. Was it like an office, or were they in a spaceship? Like,
no, spaceship.
They were in a spaceship?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they were on the space flight deck thing, talking, and you're just like, oh, well, so I just got all that crazy, and now we're here to human beings.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, it goes to the point where our kind of like civilization pretty much goes to this, space crew, and their mission is to go to one of the planets to inspect some weird object, which was the object you see in the beginning
of
the monolith.
Yeah.
And it pretty much the monolith was kind of used as your extraterrestrial life. Where did we gain like our knowledge from? I mean, it goes, and I think that's where like the movie did so well. It was, there. For like as Lucy, right? There's a lot of like, okay, what ifs,
a lot of back and forth.
It's just like a lot of what ifs. We don't really know.
Yeah.
And we can only know like a little bit. And we still live in a society where it's like, okay, did we come from primates? Did we not? It's always going to be that hard.
How I feel about us is that we're barely out of the woods yet. I feel like we still barely know shit about anything.
Yeah, I mean...
We human beings like to think we're the most smartest thing in the galaxy, but we probably barely know shit when we compare it to like the whole cosmos.
Well, and that's just the thing too. It's very interesting. Is where do you compare smarts in? Like, say like you could have a person that is more street smart than there is fucking paper smart. You know.
And then on the other hand, you could have someone who is like insanely intelligent with like books and stuff like that, but they don't know nothing about the real world.
No.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where I say the education system failed. No.
Yeah.
No, but you could even say that the Space Odyssey is ahead of us at the point that we are now, because I mean, look at the spacecraft they were in. We don't have spacecraft like that. We don't have that. There's no spacecraft that we're able to fly to a whole nother galaxy or planet. We can't go that far, really, with the craft that we have currently.
Yeah, but the stuff that they're finding out more and more, like, saw something we're getting close to, like, accepting that the fact that teleportation could be in fact done.
Yeah. By
Which
manipulating.
I hope it doesn't like go too far because it's gonna be turning to that point. Why the fuck were you late for work, Johnny? Like fuck, man.
Do you not have your teleportation watch on?
Yeah, you're supposed to be here like fucking 5 minutes ago.
Sorry, boss. It was dead. I had to get in the old clunker.
Yeah, there's no gonna be. Ah, shit. It was out of gas.
Flat tire. Yeah, there's gonna be no more of that. But where's your fucking teleportation watch?
Yeah, but I mean, I look at some of these movies, and I also want to add in Altered States is a really really good movie, which
Altered States.
yes, which pretty much it's about a respected scientist and physiology professor, Edward Jessup, who decides to combine his experiments in his sensory deprivation tanks with powerful hallucinogenic drugs. Convinced that it may help him unlock different states of his consciousness, the experiments are a success at first, but as Jessup continues his work, he begins to experience altered mental and also physical states. As he spends more time to sensory deprivation, his grip on reality begins to slip away. Now, I know my dad owns this film. It's one of his favorite sci-fi films of all time.
I believe I've seen it too.
Which is crazy to me because of how many great sci-fi movies that have came out through time. You know, we have, Matrix, Space Odyssey. We have even like the Terminator series, right?
Well, the Terminator and the Matrix apparently are one and the same. They're connected.
And then you look at,
the Matrix leads into Terminator.
Then you got movies like AI, artificial intelligence, and there's so many great movies out there that at some point I'm going to make this on my list and rewatch it. It's just been so long to actually watch it. But yeah. I would say for anyone who's listening to watch that, because it's one of those movies after
100% grade A banger.
Yeah, like after you're done watching it, it's like then you have so many questions.
Yeah. Make sure to watch and listen to all of our podcasts, and then go and watch all of these movies that we're referencing. Not in this order, but you won't be sorry. And if you haven't seen them, you will not be sorry.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the movies you started out with.
So first one on my list, just because it's an all-time classic, and I just love it because this movie was filmed in 1993, and to this day, this movie still just goes so hard. It slaps. Schindler's List. One of my favorite ones of all time. So it starts off with it starts off with a guy you're not even really sure who he is, right? He's just some like random guy, looks real fancy. He comes walking through there into a party, and nobody at the party even knows who he is. They're like, "Who is this guy? He looks important, but we don't know who he is," right?
Yeah.
And he was a Nazi, nationalist or a party associate of the Nazis, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't know where he came from, and he just comes in at that point, doesn't own anything, doesn't know anybody, and just starts racking up all this following and money, and gets in he gets several hundred Jews pulled from the camps to come work for him, right?
Yeah.
And this guy literally, like, to me at first the movie kind of throws you off, because at first you think, oh, he's just a businessman, he's profiting from these Jews, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end you realize, no, this guy secretly the whole time was trying to save them. It doesn't tell you that until the end, when you realize, oh, he was trying to save as many as he could. Yep. And just disguise it as a business. And so one of my favorite parts in the whole movie is when they start trying to make artillery and shells for tanks and machine guns and stuff like that. But he's like, it would be a gracious miracle to me if not a single one of these artillery shells was able to fire when we're done here. You know? The whole time it was just a fucking scheme, just to keep the Jews out of the camps and keep the facade going. And remember, he was buying other artillery shells from other manufacturers that did fire, disguising them as theirs and selling them to the Nazis or the Nazi army. But then none of their shells were actually firing because they were fucking them up on purpose. So that's low-key one of my favorite parts of the movies is when they're in the artillery factory and he's talking to his guy he had hired as his accountant. And he comes running over to him. He's like, we have a big issue. None of these shells we're sending out to them are passing their quality inspections. He's like, that's a good thing. He's like, yeah, I hope not a single one of these shells fires out of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of that movie?
I mean, it's been such a long time since I watched that movie, but I believe this is all based off a true story.
It is. It is based.
There was actual.
Yeah, Oscar Schindler. At the end of the movie, it shows his grave and the actual Jews from his list. The Schindler. They call them the Schindler Jews.
Yeah, of how much he saved.
Yeah, what I love is 1,200 original Jews that he saved led to 6,000 people through 3 different generations.
Oh, I mean, it's honestly crazy. I mean, the crazy thing to me was just...
He did die in 1950, though, so he did die not long after the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the gravestone, it said, 1928 to, 1950 or something like that.
Did they ever touch up on how he died?
No, I didn't. I didn't actually say how he died. It did say that his marriage didn't work out, and that he probably died from,
sadness.
I think he actually died from, because it did say at the end he had several other business ventures that didn't work out. His marriage failed, and then he probably just died from natural causes. I'm not 100% sure, because it didn't really specify at the end of the movie there. So
Liver failure.
Oh, he died from liver failure. Oh, okay. It didn't. I don't think it said that in the movie. He must have drank a lot after his marriage fell apart.
He was buried on Mount Zion in Jerusalem.
Yes, in Jerusalem. Yep. His grave is still there. They put him on the there was a wall of heroes to the Jews essentially, and they put him on this what the fuck did the terminology they used for it? It was the wall of significant individuals or something like that, or significant influential people essentially. And I thought that was pretty cool. I think one of my favorite parts in the whole movie is the scene where he's another one of my favorite parts is when they had them all the Jews loaded up in the train cars, and it's like in super hot summer heat, and they're sitting there and they're all waving themselves down. The Jews are in there just screaming and can't breathe, and they're packed in there like sardines, and Schindler sees the other Nazis laughing, and they're just fantasizing. And he's like, wouldn't it be funny if we just sprayed them down with water, and just you put water in there, acting like it's a joke? And then he's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's like, sure. He's like, yo, they're all laughing as he's spraying the train cars and in the windows and on the roofs and stuff, so it leaks through. And they're all laughing, thinking like, oh, he's humiliating them, but no, he's secretly cooling them down and giving them water. Mm-hmm. And then he can't reach the other one, so he's like, this is so funny. Let's keep doing this. He's like, I got 200 more feet yard of hose at the factory. Let's go get it. So he's in the factory. They put up the 200 feet of hose to get the other cars at the end. And the whole time you see that one guy, what was his name? The main SS officer, Goen something. Goen Attell, I think was his name or something like that. The SS officer who he was friends with, who had the business dealings with, was starting to be suspicious of him. Kept giving him throughout the whole movie. It alludes to him being suspicious of him. And then he's like at the end there, he's like, Schindler, stop what you're doing. You're just giving them hope. And he's like, no. He's just like, this is funny. This is a joke. He's like, no. He's like, I'm secretly helping all these Jews. Like all the ones that were pretty much in those train cars were his Jews. Yeah. But that's another one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is it's secretly it's one of those movies that makes you think two ways. It makes you think, he's just a businessman trying to profit money, And then he also gives you a thought of, oh, he's a savior trying to save all these people from being genocided.
Yeah. Which shows you
the duality of man.
Well, I mean, yeah, it just kind of like shows you like, you know, for example, I mean, he was the only member of the Nazi party to be honored in the way he was.
Yeah. Well, everyone looked at him like royalty.
Yeah, and the thing is because even though something heinous is going on with, you know, whatever you're a part of, right? Like your country is doing or whatever, he took a stance to it and was like, nah, like this is wrong. This is what I'm gonna do, you know. Yeah. So I mean, it speaks in many, many ways.
Well, my whole thing with the Nazis and the Jews and all that is like, if Hitler really didn't like them that much, why did he have to go and kill them all? Why didn't he just round them up and kick them out of the country? He could have rounded them all up and sent them off to Poland, or sent them into Russia or something. He didn't have to genocide them all.
Yeah, well, and that's just one of those answers that will never be known. I mean, the known fact is, so many years later, Hitler was doing so much drugs just because of, you know, what he had, which I don't know if it...
he had syphilis.
Syphilis?
Yeah, he had syphilis, which made him go crazy, and then the doctors... there's actually a theory that one of the doctors was trying to kill him with the drugs. He was trying to poison him to death with the drugs.
Yeah.
Trying to overdose him, but he could never get him to take enough. So he would prescribe him drugs and be like, oh, you know, take this amount, but he wouldn't. He would only take like half of it, because Hitler was also very suspicious of his doctor. Yeah. But he knew he had syphilis, and he knew untreated it'll make you go crazy. It'll give you like a blood infection kind of thing, and like just make you go absolutely insane.
Yeah, I just know that he was doing so much drugs for, you know, the later half of his years before the quote unquote suicide.
He ventilated his head, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put an extra air hole on his head, turned himself into a dolphin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the end of Hitler's reign right there. But yeah, no, Oskar Schindler, just the man himself, the fact that he was able to walk through such a dangerous area with very dangerous individuals during war and
pull off what he did
without getting just executed. Because the Nazis, they were just shooting people in the streets. They didn't care. They would laugh and joke, and it was super funny to them.
Oh yeah, it was a very like gruesome time.
Yeah, they were like they were a lot of them. When I'm watching these films, a lot of the Nazis, it's almost sadistic. You know, it's like the way that they were doing it. They were getting so much pleasure from killing.
Oh yeah,
like bloodthirsty animals. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like too long ago they had a trial, because their whole thing was, even after World War II, they didn't have, you know, after the war, there was so much people that tried to, you know, escape. And it wasn't, I think it was like a couple years back, they had a trial for one of the SS officers.
Like, he old as fuck now?
Yeah, because I mean, it's still, no matter what, it's, you still have to...
Even if you're 80, you still committed heinous crimes.
Yeah, and...
You're probably in your late 90s at that point.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, all I know is that some of the crimes that I've read some books of, like, some of the stuff the Nazi parties has done, like, it's hard to even, like, imagine, you know? Yeah,
they would literally hang them in the streets and slice them with swords. They would whip them, do all sorts of heinous tortures and punishments. And the kids, what they would do to the kids is they would force the kids to do work that they couldn't even possibly do. And then when they couldn't do it, they would just execute them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, here's a little 5-year-old kid, have him go lift a fucking 50-pound rock
Right.
A child can't do that. And they just fucking boom, just execute the child because it can't lift a 50-pound rock.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that was the second time in history where a a race, a religious bunch of people were genocide. You know, because it was the Jews, and then it was the Indians, as far as I know, that were
like the Native Americans.
Yeah, that were like looked at as
persecuted
genocide.
and then genocided.
Yeah.
Smallpox blankets.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's one of my all-time favorite movies is Schindler's List. What's another one of your on your list of your like top 5, or even on your list that we are curated?
I mean, I bounced around a lot, but I really love The Matrix.
The Matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically, which one though? Like, what is your favorite Matrix movie?
I mean, I just like the trilogy set, not counting the
fourth one.
Well, yeah, technically it would be like the fourth with like Neo and everything, but they did have the anime Matrix movie that they did.
See, and I don't know much about the animated one because I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not a huge animated show guy.
Yeah.
I did watch all the way through the Clone Wars, but that's just because I'm a Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's understandable, right? But I can't really talk about The Matrix without appreciating like the second and third one.
Okay.
They were all so well done.
See, and I haven't seen those in a long time, so that's why I would like to know what you think about like how they were done. Like,
I mean, it's just one, I know for a fact that these movies in particular are still used for some college courses and stuff.
For like psychology or for like science kind of
for psychology.
Psychology.
Oh yeah. I mean that movie was such a brain fuck. And it still is to this day, like just sitting there watching it, and it's like we all have these questions in life, right? And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but kind of like
about to get philosophical.
No, just kind of like, you have this, this just normal person. And what I mean like normal is,
wasn't he like a fucking pizza guy?
No. He was a hacker.
He was a hacker. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. He
thought he was like a Peter Parker kind of type of thing.
He took information and then he sold it. Like, the information he sold was kind of like just your normal, drug dealer across the corner of the street, right? So he would sell these like projects that he would hack into.
So would people come to him and say, I want this information, can you get it for me type of deal?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it starts off is, he's passed out, near his computer, and then his computer
starts doing the green thing, right?
Yeah, and then someone starts speaking to him, and he's like, well, what the fuck is this shit?
He's like, I've never seen this code.
And, pretty much someone just informing him to chase the white rabbit.
That's right. Yeah, the white rabbit, yeah.
And there's scenes that, like, got thrown into that whole movie that just was a brain fuck, because the way I was like thinking of chasing the white rabbit, Alice in Wonderland,
the hole, the watch,
yeah, and just to the point where, he realizes, how could it be that the life he is living isn't the life he is meant to live. He lives in this life where he's programmed that he thinks like this is him, this is 100% him, this is his doing. He loves the job that he works for, yada yada yada. But then it ends up like, nah, you're just perceived as, you're just a working honeybee, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's
you're just another one of these drones, in this system, yeah.
And that's what I love so much about the movie. and the way it goes through, you know, the take the red pill or the blue pill, forget about what we ever met or continue for where we're going, and
what I'm about to show you.
Yeah, for what I'm about to show you. And then it just opens up this just whole fucking can of worms, the whole entire, going through the movies where you're just realizing like.
So then, okay, so let's cross over into the second movie then. So where does the second movie leave off?
I mean,
and the crucial parts in that movie.
So, I mean, to really talk about the second one is how the first one ends, He ends off where he actually believes in himself. He is who everyone is saying he is. At least he is.
He's the one.
Yeah, he's the one. And so in the second one, it takes off to where you get more of an introduction of Zion, which is pretty much the last defense hope of the city.
Yeah.
Of people that are actually unplugged. This is the actual like reality of everything. Everything above is just fucked up technology one. And that's just the whole basis of where it's trying to get to, is them fighting against AI.
Well, doesn't it show you too more in the second movie of how like everybody is like asleep and their bodies are actually being used to power the.
Well, that's pretty much like what you see once Neo takes the pill. He gets like unplugged from the system, and you see that everything. And that's where I give them props. Cinematography is you have like just these cryo chambers of people that are used to keep the machines alive, because the basis of the movie itself is technology took over like Terminator, right? Humanity's last hope was we're just gonna fucking nuclear explosion everything. So when that happens, I mean, they destroyed the planet, and AI takes that source of, the more and more things we realize is we went from like a battery, right, to where we went to a solar panel, right?
Yeah.
Where we get that energy from the sun.
Yeah.
To the point that they were using the bodies because the bodies give off so much of that heat and everything. Yeah. So the people in the cryo chamber were actually keeping the machines alive.
Yeah, they're producing heat energy for the machines.
So the weird thing is they could have just said, we won, fuck you guys, right? But at least at the same time, they gave them like, a alternative life. So the whole movie was essentially what is real, what is not real. Yeah. And it plays off to where we are, still in life. Is like, is this real? Is this the Matrix? What's real, what's not real?
Yeah. So now let's turn pages here. What about the movies do you not like?
I don't like they made a fourth.
So what makes you so mad about the fourth one? What is it that bothers you about the fourth one? You told me this before, but
the thing that like pains me is like, so how the first, second, third was, you had some like technology right in there, but it was things that made sense more, right?
Yeah. That's weird. The water tasted sweet.
Yeah. Thank you. Hope it's salty. No, but the thing that I love is it's just why I loved the 3 and disliked the 4th was, it was the simple fact of like the stuff they were using in the first, second, and third, to where they used the payphones as that way of they could get connected and then be plugged out,
Got you.
And so when it came to like the new one, it was like, well, you could just jump through a mirror and do this and do that. And it was, to me, I was like, okay, now you guys are like throwing in so much newer technological stuff where I'm like, I feel like it's taken away from it. Mm-hmm. And then the thing is it just kind of plays off as what Neo and
because in the fourth one Neo was old, wasn't he?
Well, the thing is, in the fourth one they go through and they pretty much say the first, the second, the third, all that transpired through those three movies never fucking really happened, and that's probably what pissed me off the most.
Really?
Yeah, because it starts off as like Neo's just like he created this book.
Oh, and so it was all in his fucking head?
You know, and it goes more through it to where, oh, well, like, yeah, it was true, but the like that whole time spent where it's saying, yeah, that didn't happen. A lot of it did happen, but them playing on that fact or having them touch that shit, I was like, yeah, fuck this movie. Yeah. It just wasn't my favorite. They should have just stopped where they were at.
So how did they convince him that it didn't actually happen? Did they make him think he was just like fucked up in a psych ward or something?
No, like he was just some, author. He wrote these books that, transpired. He had like a little action figure of the spaceship that they, the little ship that they had. Okay. So they were like playing on.
So they alluded to it not being real.
Yeah, gotcha. And that's where I was like, fuck this movie. Like there were some things they were doing where I was like, yeah, I just don't care for this.
It was like the fourth one, they were kind of like making fun of it or kind of like fucking with. They were like, oh, let's fuck up the Matrix trilogy for the people who really love it.
Well, and it pisses me off because like I'll die on that hill and just say like, as the Matrix holds up to this day, it's one of my favorite films of all time because just the lines they used in that movie, like there's a lot of like adverbs in that movie. Like,
well, you Morpheus. Do realize that the Matrix movies were like a big component for a start of a lot of conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, and that's why I love it so much too. Is it just plays off that fact or like that? Not, I'm not gonna say plays off the fact, but it plays off in everyone's head where are they living the life they want to, and then there's so many things that you could take from it. Do you want the red pill or blue pill?
Okay, which one makes my pee-pee bigger?
Well, the thing is you think, okay, red, Democrat, blue.
Yeah, you start thinking sides. Yeah,
it grows and grows, and you're like, fuck, this movie did so damn well, and it's those like things that they throw at you. You're like, okay, feed daddy, I got you. Yeah. And then you're just coming out and you're like, well, fuck, now I'm nuts now. Yeah. Like, as simple as that. And the thing is, this was like the first movie that really like introduced the slow motion of things.
Gotcha, yeah. When they were doing the slow-mo cinematography for the bullet dodging and the whole like the CGI effects, and I'm pretty sure Keanu Reeves did all of his own stunts in those films too. I think those are a few of the films he did his own stunts. Kind of like Tom, what's his name?
Tom Hardy?
Not Tom Hardy. Fucking
Tom Hanks.
How many stunts has that
Tom
guy
Cruise.
done? Tom Cruise.
You're
fucking with me. Yeah. Fucking Tom Hardy, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck you. No. But, I love the Matrix movies. I haven't seen them in a long time, but trilogy movies are hard for me to get through because I am one of those where I have to watch a movie completely alone. If I'm going to absorb it, I have to be alone. I can't watch movies with other people. Because I'm ADHD as fuck, and then they distract me, and then like I'm just like, all right, fuck it, I can't do it.
Yeah, to me, there's only been very, very few trilogy movies out there that, to me, as like the three was just, I mean, it's cinema perfect. Not just cinema, but the accolades it got. Speaking of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, let's see, Lord of the Rings, though, I could watch those over and over again. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be fazed by this.
But I'm just saying, like,
Right.
you look at Lord of the Rings, you look at the Matrix, and you look at, some movies just don't get it to that point of making all three great. I mean, you even look at the Terminator. I mean, my favorite was the first and second.
Yes.
The more they kept going, like, they introduced new things and interrelated new things.
See, I really love the last one just because they brought...
Last one what?
Of the Terminator.
Okay.
I forget the whole title, but was it the 6th movie? Where they bring him back and he's all old and he has a family and you're like, oh, so this is like Skynet was defeated several times over and over again through these different, and then you come back to old Terminator. The original Terminator is old. He has a family, like a wife and a kid. And I'm just like, how did he have a kid? I'm like, and then also at the same time, he still is ready to down the clown. Like, he's not all fucked up. He's like, but there is the one scene where he goes to fight and he's like, his arm won't fucking bend because he's so old.
But that's just the thing. Like, there's not a lot of movies. I mean, I can't think of any movies outside of that pedigree where I'm like, every film was good. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about like, old George Lucas Star Wars films.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
No.
You had New Hope, you had Strikes Back, and then you had Return of the Jedi. And even, dude, those movies, when they were made, they made people's heads spin. They made people's heads blow up in the theaters. They had never seen anything like that before.
Well, I mean, it was Star Wars at the time. So, like, the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek was, for some reason, I believed more of, like, the Star Wars of, like, oh, this actually makes more sense to me than Star Trek. Like, the whole bar scene, the cantina scene, and you're seeing all these different, like,
space races
stuff. I was like, dude, I could fuck with this.
Believe it or not, so E.T., Star Trek, Star Wars, apparently, according to the lore, they all fall in line in the same...
because E.T. was in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was. His race was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And even there's even a few races from Star Trek in Star Wars. So that's why they believe all of these three movie dimensions, I guess I could say, all live within this one universe.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, Star Wars is just bringing it all together. So you see all these different beings just within a different aspect and belief of the galaxy. Because like you told me the other day, which I didn't even know about, and I'm a big fucking Star Wars nerd, that the Force and the Jediism is a religion. And I didn't know that. I thought it was just something only a select few that were able to harness this ability would follow this code. Essentially this religion. It's supposed to be a peace,
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was like considered an actual religion.
Yeah.
Among people.
I think maybe Australia. I forget where.
Yeah, you told me, but I
can't. But years later I found out that it was, people made a religion from it.
I mean, and if you think about it, it's possible because, I mean, what are the main rules of being a Jedi were essentially like, don't hold on to, don't feed into hate, anger, attachment is forbidden.
Yeah.
Attachment leads to jealousy, anger. This is a path to the dark side.
Yeah.
So I could see how it could be pretty easily made into a religion.
Well, it's funny thing to think though is like,
wake up.
I'm awake. Is thinking of Star Wars was literally Lion King 2.0.
What do you mean though? What do you mean exactly by that? Don't you dare hurt my feelings. Right
now. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Dare hurt my feelings right now.
I'll fucking kill you. Just the stories, man. Like, one is so I might have to brain my phone, but they broke it down on it. because it's more than just good versus bad, right?
So you're
Dark
saying it's like
versus-
fucking Mufasa versus Scar kind of thing, like the everything the light touches is a fucking type of vibe. Yeah.
No, you keep talking about how you love Star Wars.
I do. I would. Okay. I got a good question for you. If you had to be a Jedi, which Jedi would you want to be?
Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about in the sense of like
I'm talking about
gray,
I'm talking about
dark?
all the characters you can think of from the Jedi side of it. Which one would you want to be? All that you can remember.
Honestly, probably the Sith, bro.
That's not a Jedi. That's a fucking Sith. I
I
said Jedi.
Jedi.
I was gonna give you your Sith chance.
Oh, where are you now? Honestly,
What am I paying you for?
what are you? Darth Plagueis.
That's still a Sith, but I'll give it to you,
Yeah.
okay? Because fuck. I think I would want to be, if we're talking Jedi, I would want to be probably Obi-Wan, mainly just because he was one of the best skilled swordsmen among all the Jedi. He used form 3 of saber combat, which was up close and very personal. And so what his skill was is he was very good at getting very close, so it made it very hard for the enemy to swing, and he was a very, very, very skilled defensive fighter. And then if I was going to be a Sith, I'd probably want to be Darth Tyrannus, because he had the ability to make life from the Force.
All right, you ready for your head to explode?
Yeah, I'm ready for you to hurt my feelings. Yes,
All right.
I've prepared myself.
The Lion King and Star Wars are often compared due to their shared narrative structure of their characters, archetypes, and their thematic elements. So both tell pretty much like the same story. What happens to Simba? Right? He was kicked out. He has to come back and reclaim.
And then also he has a father, that died, and but Luke, his father died.
Yeah.
Darth Vader fucked your father to
and
death.
then you got like familiar characters.
Yeah.
Even though like you could look as Timon and Pumbaa, not quite like C-3PO and R2-D2, but they were both used as their
they were the
comedy relief.
And they were like Jar Jar Binks was also kind of like a comedy relief, like
he was
friend companion.
a fucking Sith.
He was a Sith. You're right. In the comics,
I'm tired of fighting with people about it.
He was Darth Jar Jar.
He was Darth fucking Jar Jar.
He was in the comics.
Always been my Discord picture. I will die on that hill.
So in the comics, yes, they did allude to Jar Jar being a Sith or turning to the dark side because of his anger of losing his all of his people that he loved.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, you got your wise mentors, you got your good versus evil, you got your themes of redemption and responsibilities. It is a fucking Lion King 2.0.
I'm on my way. Yeah.
But just to get away from that, no, I did love Star Wars. My brother, in fact, he's a way bigger Star Wars person than I am, and I've known we've gotten into arguments about.
So me and your brother could fucking vibe.
Probably,
we'd be sitting here for hours.
Probably, like he will still not come to agreement that Jar Jar was a Sith.
He was. They even had a comic of him being a Sith. Why the fuck do you think Lego Star Wars had Darth Jar Jar as one of the fucking special characters that you unlock?
No, you don't have to fight me on this. I know this.
Yeah,
bro.
me too.
You
Bro.
could
I agree with
could
you.
rewatch those films. It wasn't a film issue, but like where they got on film where. Now I can't remember if it was when they were trying to save,
Which
Prince
film?
Amidala.
Which film?
It was episode 1.
Oh, so Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure if it was to save Prince or Princess Amidala or whatever her name was. But there is a part where, Jar Jar's hanging on the balcony, and then next film, he's like literally on the other side.
Yeah, so you're like, how the fuck did you get over there?
Well, it's because he had the Force. He use the Force to put him in
to jump over there or whatever.
Yeah, with that.
Well, the thing was
position.
that it was alluded to in that movie too that the Gungans were quite a few of them were Force sensitive, but they weren't allowed to feed into it because of their species. And when it comes to Jar Jar, even in the Revenge of the Sith, the third movie, when they're wheeling Padme's body down the thing in the casket, you know the part where he's got the robe on and it's like they're walking and he looks up. There is a slight moment in that film where he looks up and his eyes are Sith red for a second, and then they go back to normal. Yeah. So they alluded. There was some allusions to him being able to harness the Force, dark side.
Part of the council meeting, and he's waving his hand, and
he's remember when he's standing next to the Emperor.
That's the part, and he's waving his hands and stuff like that, and people alluded to he was just using the Force to change people's minds, because from the get-go in the beginning. They tried the whole council thing, and people were not down with that shit. Nah, fuck you guys, or no, we're not going with this decision. Then all of a sudden, Jar Jar comes up on
and
stage.
And they're all yeah!
Fucking E.T.'s over there smoking his tuba, all enjoying the party.
R2-D2's like, a beep boop, a beep boop bop. A beep boop beep bop.
So no, they were, regardless, they were good films, and my whole thing was... George Lucas was a very, I say he was at least within my top 10, favorite directors of time,
One last thing I wanted to mention on the Jar Jar thing, just because it came to mind. There is a fan speculation, fan fiction thing that I read 3 months ago. They believe, so the whole time when Palpatine was corrupting Anakin, remember how I told you the Gungans were very Force sensitive and that they had very strong connection to it, and they're very sensitive to that kind of energy? Well, there's a lot of people that believe that Jar Jar being in proximity of this when it's happening, when he's slowly corrupting Anakin, Jar Jar was slowly being corrupted by proximity through the Force.
Yeah.
So that's where the allusion to Darth Jar Jar comes in. But we never actually find out how Jar Jar dies, because he does die.
Well, no, we got an answer, bro. They blew up the fucking planet. When Disney took over, they're like, yeah, fuck that planet. Fuck your guys' dreams.
Fuck you, Darth Jar Jar.
Well, the thing is I feel bad because we don't really will get 100% of the answer. It's all theorized, right? I mean, I know my core that he was a Sith, but for so long, after those, episode 1, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and whatever the fucking last one was called.
There was supposed to be before George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, there was supposed to be one last movie.
Well, there was gonna be bring more, because the person that played Jar Jar, he went on to say that it's still under, what is it called, NDA or whatever.
Yeah. That
he can't really go into it, but people said that the people from what they're thinking isn't too far from the truth.
Yeah.
It's just George Lucas canceled it because after the whole Jar Jar thing came out and people weren't, they didn't like Jar Jar.
I love Jar Jar. He was great.
Yeah, I did too. But since a lot of people didn't like it, it's, it was the only time where George Lucas and the studio got so many more death threats, all this different stuff.
That's so stupid.
So that's why
over a character that was supposed to be a comedic relief. That was the whole point of his character. He was supposed to be a lighthearted. What did he do?
Yeah, you just look at all the the characters. I mean, you got RTG2, CP3PO. You got the Ewoks.
Yeah.
There was always a character for comic relief. That is true. I just believe that Jar Jar had a way bigger purpose within the whole franchise.
Yeah.
And it just pains me that he sold the rights to Disney, because there's only been some marks that they've done that I appreciate.
How much money did he get from that sale?
No, Jamie, look up your phone.
Yeah. Fucking Gordon, get the word out, you know.
Do anything I'll pay you for?
Yeah. Yeah. Now I gotta get out the whip? What? No, I'm kidding. But, no, so, jump back a little bit.
No, you're good.
Before Lucas sold it to Disney, there was supposed to be one more movie and or show series that he was supposed to release, and it was supposed to be called Star Wars Underworld. And it was supposed to be about Coruscant and the gangs on Coruscant. Like, like in the movie with not the movie, the game, Star Wars, was it Rebels? No, that's not the game I'm thinking of. What was the one with the girl? She was like a smuggler on the planet, Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws. It was supposed to follow that. It was supposed to be a movie about that, or a show about that George Lucas had already made, filmed and everything, and it never got released.
Keep talking.
And so, but yeah, no, so George Lucas, I guess, sold to Disney for $4.5 billion. Holy shit. Goddamn, dude's loaded. Yeah, he never has to work ever again. No wonder he sold. They wrote that up for him, and they were like, yeah, he's like, yep, that's good. I'm done. But, I mean, can you really blame George Lucas? I mean, how old was the guy? I mean, George Lucas was probably... He's 81 years old, so in a way, he sold Star Wars to Disney... How many years ago now? 5, 6 years ago? So, I mean, God, he was in his late 70s. Can you really blame the guy?
I don't really blame him, but at the same time, I still, it's just...
I wish he could have given us one more good movie.
Well, I wish he just finished off of, what he wanted to...
accomplish.
Yeah, but after all the hate he got from those films...
The prequels?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand why people hate them so much. I thought they were good. To me, the prequels were good movies. The CGI was good. The saber fighting was excellent.
Well, I mean, even with Disney taking it over and everything like that...
I mean, fuck, look what Disney did with all the choreography and all that. They fucking ruined it.
Yeah, there's only some Star Wars stuff that they did that I actually appreciate.
Mandalorian was good. I will give them that. I did like the Mandalorian. I do think Grogu's character, even though he was technically a baby in their species, but, I mean, fuck, he was already, even as a baby, he was already 100 years old.
Yeah.
Or, no, he was 50 years old, and he was a baby. But their species can live up to 1,000 years. So, for me, it's like, I feel like they kind of did Grogu dirty. They could have given him a lot more of that character. Yeah. And they really didn't. We barely get to see any of his abilities. He fucked around a couple times, got a little spunky here and there, but nothing crazy. The only real attribute they gave the Grogu's character was that he likes to eat everything.
Yeah. That's me, right?
And apparently Yoda's species, they're carnivores. Their teeth are sharp. They're meat eaters. So they kill a lot of things. Nah, dude, let's talk about Yaddle. You know Yaddle, right? There was more than one of Yoda's species in the council that were Jedi Masters. Yaddle was his friend. She was a female. Yeah. And she, unfortunately, was killed by Tyrannus, which was Count Dooku. Darth Tyrannus was Count Dooku's real name. And so that's one thing that pains me is Yoda's girlfriend got fucking assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, Star Wars is good.
Well, let's talk about Star Trek. You know a lot about that. I don't.
I don't know too much about Star Trek. I just know I've seen a couple films here and there. I know their newest films they came out with. I know it was, the newer ones they came out with them in the 2000, 2000
early 2000s.
Yeah, that was their big money makers and everything. But I mean that was kind of easy to pull off with Star Wars. Really not. Star Wars was absent for so many fucking years.
Was, because you had Revenge of the Sith, and then for 15 fucking years, there was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Other than, like, animated stuff, like the Clone Wars and stuff like that. Star Wars Rebels, which was another animated show.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he you know, he did like small work and stuff like that, but ultimately, like, he was just done with Star Wars, and that was it from Star Wars until Disney picked it up.
I mean, $4.5 billion is not... it's hard to say no to that. It really is. If I had something that was worth that much and someone flopped me a check for $4.5 billion, I'd understand, you know?
I don't know about that. Because, like, to me, it comes down to as, like... You know, there's only a few things that Disney has done with, like, Star Wars that I would give a small clap to. And those were...
You realize how much a billion is, right?
Oh, I know how much a fucking billion is. But if someone offered you $1 billion for this podcast, would you accept it? And you can't do it anymore? There goes
Could I be a guest sometimes?
there goes our nice calm nights with the fire going. All that's gone.
Fuck, man. And what if I split it with you guys? What if I, like, we split it up equally?
Yeah.
I'm fine. But yeah, no, he was 76 years old, dude.
Yeah, but my whole thing is where I was pissed off about was he wasn't saying anything, well, it's because I'm getting old, yada, yada, yada.
Didn't explain why.
No, he explained why. He was like, well, it's just fuck the fans. That's what he took it as. That's why he sold it.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, if my excuse, I would be like, I'm getting old. That would be my excuse.
I'm getting old, Johnny.
Getting old. I just can't keep up with this anymore.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot of great cinemas through our years. I would say Star Wars is up there. Another all-time one of my absolute favorites, which I kind of just mentioned, was AI, artificial intelligence, which it's kind of funny to me because I've always been about, I'm more of your sci-fi guy here. I love sci-fi. And the reason why I liked artificial intelligence was it was more of I honestly felt it was more like, another version of Blade Runner, but of course Blade Runner did it better. But the kid who starred in it, was the little kid off of the Sixth Sense, I see dead people. And, honestly, you would call that a futuristic, Pinocchio storyline. Where, it starts off where he, like, believes he is this boy. He has this family, and the more they get into it, the more he realizes that he is not real at all. He's just artificial intelligence.
Pinocchio right now, or
Pinocchio
right now?
Pinocchio 2.0. Talking about artificial intelligence.
Okay, so what's the movie we're talking about?
That's it. AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, artificial intelligence. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
I was letting the people know how great that movie was.
I haven't seen that one, so
it's a great movie, but honestly, it's another one you could just say, it's more of like a Pinocchio version 2.0 storyline.
Yeah.
Where this kid feels like
boy.
Yeah, he like this kid, he feels like he's that kid, but he's the artificial intelligence of that kid. So he was made the exact image of this family's son.
Oh, is it the little boy where he had like the blonde hair, short blonde hair kind of?
Yeah, he was off the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, and he you're right. And the family was, their son died. They got this AI robot clone of their son.
Yeah.
And the AI intelligence was in it. And there was a creepy scene where like the boy would get up at night and go in there and be like just staring at the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have seen the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. I still have to say, like, you know, from that point, you know, it was mostly like just Blade Runner stuff.
Yeah.
But I do like that movie because it was like the futuristic tell of, you know, Pinocchio. Am I real? Am I not real? You know.
Yeah. So, coming off of movies, let's jump to some of the best TV shows that have more of a cinema-like feel.
Breaking Bad, hands down. 10,
oh, dude,
10.
Breaking Bad, fuck yeah, because they filmed that like a movie. They really did.
Yeah.
Each episode was like another little movie. I have a tradition in my household. I watch Breaking Bad every year.
Oh yeah.
I redo it every year, and I'm gonna watch it with my kids. When they're old enough, I'll be like, "Come on, babies, let's sit down and watch some Breaking Bad with Dad."
Jesus, yeah. What's funny
That's what
is,
Daddy would do for you if I ever got canceled.
I mean, everything from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul was good. Then they did that, also that movie.
El Camino.
That entails more of like Jesse's like journey, like where he's at and stuff like that.
The Better Call Saul, that show kind of pissed me off a little bit because they took such a long time to get to the shit that really mattered.
Well,
there's like 3 whole seasons of that show that you could get rid of and then start it off.
What are you saying? It doesn't matter. It matters completely. How they ended that show, it just ties in everything. Like, don't get me wrong. When I admit, I sat down and, you know, my dad's like, "Oh, this is what I'm watching," you know, explaining a little bit to me, and I'm like, "Okay." And it took me a while to like sit down and watch it because in my mind, I'm like thinking of, I'm thinking more of like Jesse. I'm thinking more about
like an outside perspective.
Well, I'm thinking more of like the main, actors from Breaking Bad that just made that fucking show. And the more and more I was watching Better Call Saul, I was like, fuck, they actually did this fucking justice. Like, the ending of all 3 of those movies, I would almost fucking call them movies at this point because of the acting, but all 3 of the 2 TV shows and the movie, because El Camino was a movie, they were done perfect. Yeah.
For me, my favorite episode in Better Call Saul would be the episode where he's transporting the money bag through the desert or the hills, and he gets confronted by the affiliate cartel.
Yeah.
That tries to rip him off, right? And then he escapes, and then what's his name shows up? I always draw a blank on his name. Mike. Mike shows up.
Yeah.
Or AKA Finger. Yeah, Mike shows up, saves his ass, and then fucking they have to trudge through the fucking desert for a week straight to get to the fucking back to civilization.
Oh,
and the whole time he's bitching. And he's fucking bitching and whining, and he's just like, just leave me here. Laying like sprawled out on the ground, he's just like, this is where I die. And Mike's like, get up.
Yeah, my favorite scene of the whole entire series was when he's getting out, where the dad is getting an argument with his wife Skylar, and he's going on.
Yeah,
and saying,
dude.
And that's where like the popular quote comes in, where he's like, I'm the one that fucking knocks.
I know that word for word. Where he's like, you think I'm in danger?
I am
the danger. I'm the one who knocks.
Yeah,
that's that scene goes hard.
Yeah, I mean, and it will always go.
And
hard.
then that's a pivotal moment in the show, because that's when the perspective starts to turn and Skylar starts to realize that he is actually the dangerous one. The whole time when she finds out, she thinks he's in danger. He's being forced to do this. No, he's doing this under his own pretense.
Yeah.
And I am the one who knocks.
And then my other favorite part was when, count a couple of years where like pretty much the jig's up, right? She's
aiding and abetting him.
Well, he like comes up to her and like after all these years, and he's like, if you go to this grave, like if you go to this area, this is where they'll find my what was it? Was it his brother or cousin who was the cop?
Oh, you're talking about it was his brother-in-law, and that was
So
Fuck, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
yeah, it's fine. But he
his
goes to
brother-in-law.
the he gives his wife the coordinates to like where his brother-in-law and his cops buddies gravesite is, and
Yeah,
where they'll like
yeah.
find money and stuff like that.
All the barrels that they buried and
and he goes into like talking to Skylar, and he's like, I got one thing to say, and she's like, if you fucking say that you did this for the family, he's like, no. And he goes in to say,
I did it for me.
I did it for me because I was good at it. This was one thing I was
good at.
I was perfect
And it was
at.
a pride thing. It was the fact that he had watched all of his colleagues surpass him in life with all the knowledge he knew.
Yeah.
And if he would have stayed doing what he was doing before, he would have been a multi-millionaire.
Oh, I mean, and this is crazy. Is like we get Bryan Cranston from the show.
Great actor.
From
He was from Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, the dad.
And he was funny, but like Breaking Bad was his
breakout role.
His huge breakout role. From that point, he was on so much great things. Like I mean, shit, Godzilla is a big fucking movie.
Yeah, he was in that movie. He did that movie.
Well, not talk about movies, but like it was just, we all know it was his breakout role.
Yeah.
I would say for people, if they loved the acting from him, watch For Honor. He's a main actor in that one. It's a TV show. I think it's 2-3 seasons long.
See, I've never even seen For Honor.
Watch it.
I've seen the show, but I've never watched it.
You just sit down and watch it. That is, because I feel like it's just like it felt like he didn't take a break from Breaking Bad.
Just carried it right over to fucking.
Just carried it right over.
He never got quite out of that role.
Well, I mean, it was just that. God, I love Breaking Bad. One of my literally all-time favorite TV shows. That guy's probably gonna like. By the time his whole career's up, he's gonna go down in history as, you know, top of my 5 favorite actors. I'd say, and that's really hard because there's not too many shows that were on the same pedigree as, like, you know, Breaking Bad. We have shows
Ozark was a good show.
Ozark was good, but it wasn't. I'm just saying, if you're comparing shows with like the Breaking Bad, it is so fucking hard to do so, because the Breaking Bad, as much as it was a TV show, it felt like a cinema masterpiece.
How long? Okay. If they would have put that into a movie form, how long would that have been? Like 20 hours long?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it was... So there's some TV shows, like... So, for example, there's that, you know, sitcom, which will go down as a legendary sitcom of, you know, Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't really watched it too much. I just
Me either.
know it... You know, a lot of people love it.
Watched Friends more than I watched Seinfeld, to be honest.
I mean, the other shows that I would say that are pretty up high there would, like, Sopranos,
yeah,
The Wire,
Godfather. That was a movie, but
yeah,
falls along that kind
of. And after that, there's just not too much like TV shows. I mean, there are some that I actually really. I fairly enjoyed, but not as much as Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Breaking Bad's one of those shows where you just wish it would have never ended. Like, you wish it could have just gone on forever.
I mean,
that's why I watch it every year. Is because every year I'm like, I want more. I want more. Call me Kylo Ren because I want more.
Yeah, and that's why, like, once Better Call Saul started to like kick off, and then it started exploring like characters that we didn't really have like a long
like
kind
Kim and, you know, there's employers and the law firm.
Like most of like
brother.
the cartel guys, like how the guy ended up in the wheelchair, how this
happened,
yeah,
the backstories,
you know, they did so well with where it's just, yeah, I agree. It's one show that I wish could keep on going on, but at the same reality,
let's just face the truth. We all just really wish we could cook meth and make millions of dollars. Let's just face the truth.
Well, the funny thing is during that, like, I don't know if you watched like the kind of like the side content, like the bloopers or whatever.
No,
but,
man.
You know, the guy who played as like Jesse in the show and everything.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name.
He was
Pinkman.
Yeah, he was talking to Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm eating this," and he's like, "You're eating our meth?" Well, because how they
Jesse,
got it to look the way it was it was candy, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And the flavor of it was cotton candy.
Okay. So it was like sugar candy.
So as they were like doing the filming and stuff, they were like, you know, eating their own like supply of it because they couldn't stop because it just tasted like cotton candy.
That's cool that they actually used like a sugar candy for it. Oh, yeah. But it was their signature blue meth, you know. That's how they knew it was theirs, because it was blue. But it was the only reason why it was blue is because they were using that methylene fucking shit, that methylene fluid.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Nah, dude, my favorite characters in the movie was Splooge and his wife when they were trying to bust open the show when they were trying to bust open the ATM, and she's like, "I'll teach you to call me a bitch again." She just fucking smashes his head with the fucking ATM, dude.
So it's weird. So technically, this is all, you know. This is, you know, other people, right? But as they broke it down, Breaking Bad, which was from 2008 to 2013, which is weird because I felt it was way longer than that.
It felt like it was forever. Yeah.
That is like that they would say that was like the best, number one best TV series ever done. Next, they would go to Game of Thrones, Sopranos, The Wire, Stranger Things.
See, I like Stranger Things, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of got like there's 4 or 5 seasons. By the 3rd season, I was kind of over it.
I'm still excited to see what happens for the ending. Like because I know what you're talking about. There was one season that I just was not a big fan of.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just for continuity, but I that one season kind of fucked me up a little bit. Because I was just like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, but the newer season where they employed
1 and 2.
What was his name, like Vector or whatever? Yeah. Once they introduced him, and then you realize he was there the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It was done perfectly well. Then of course you got Friends, Chernobyl, The Office, Sherlock, and Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty's just a mind fuck.
Well, it's funny to me because people say like Rick and Morty, and then my favorite sci-fi was, of course, Futurama.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if like when they were writing Rick and Morty, how many drugs were they taking? You know, what were they taking? Like there's some episodes in there where I question it a little bit. But the most famous episode was the one you remember? You know that court case that happened it was like towards like the 2nd or 3rd season of Rick and Morty. There was a famous court case that they actually wound up putting in the episode where he's being charged in the Galactic Court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that episode always makes me laugh because I think about the audio recordings from the real court hearing that was in Missouri, I believe. Yeah. And it fucking makes me laugh every time. Look that up real fast. That way the audience can go research that because that is very the look up court case real life from Rick and Morty. It's fucking great, dude. Oh, Georgia, state of Georgia. There we go.
Versus Denver, Fenton, Allen.
Okay, so read it out for the audience, or I'll read it.
Is an animatic of Rick and Morty featuring versions of Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith playing the roles of Denver Allen and Judge Darham in a word-for-word reenactment of the court case of the same name.
Yeah, so everybody go look that up. It is the court case from the state of Georgia versus Denver Fenton Allen, and is based on a real court case. Same name involving Denver Fenton Allen. It is absolutely hilarious. There are even people who have done side-by-sides on YouTube of the court case and then Rick and Morty talking, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
It's great, dude. What season was that in for Rick and Morty? Yeah. 1 second, folks. We're getting information for you guys.
Season 7, Episode 1.
Season 7, Episode 1. There you go. Go check it out. Go look it up on YouTube. Research it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I've done it already. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, besides like TV shows, the one that I really, really enjoyed was Westworld off of HBO Max, and one of the main characters was Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah, Anthony Hopkins. He's always pretty good.
That guy's a fucking legend. I'd say him, Morgan Freeman.
Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, you got what's his name? Keanu Reeves. I mean, I would even put like Bryan Cranston up there. Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because like my stars, like when I was growing up, was Arnold.
Argu. The chopper.
Hit to the chopper.
Get the chopper.
And then you had like Stallone and.
Hey, I'm Rocky here. I know how to do a Stallone.
Yeah. And then I've always liked Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
Well, don't get me started on those guys.
I love a lot of this stuff.
For me, my favorite role for Jackie Chan would be when he was in the first, was it the first Rush Hour movie, when he meets
the guy from Friday, or
Tucker. What's his name? His actor name or his real name? Chris Tucker. Right, it's Chris Tucker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he first meets Chris Tucker, or the character, and he's just like, "You spoke English this whole time." He's just like, "Just because I don't speak doesn't mean I don't speak English. Yeah. You're just ignorant." That fucking makes me laugh, dude. He's just like, "You Chinese fucking assholes, motherfuckers." I'll slap the shit out you. Yeah. Fucking great, dude.
I love it.
Yeah. I just recently rewatched the Rush Hour movies. That's why they're fresh on my brain right now.
Oh, they're great.
They're great movies. They hold up with time. They really do.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
What are other great movies that hold up with time?
I mean, I'd say... You look at, on a sci-fi aspect genre, I would say, you would look at Star Wars. You would look at Terminator 2.
Yeah.
You look at the first Alien movie. You still got that Space Odyssey that's held up over time. And there's I don't know if I would put Predator up there. I mean, it was great.
1986. No, 1996 was the first Predator.
Yeah, and then for romantics, I'd say Titanic.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Not
the Notebook.
Yeah, dude, the Titanic. Yeah. Her bitch ass could have shared that fucking door.
I know. They already.
There was plenty of room on that fucking door.
They mythbusted that shit, and they're like, yeah, she could have shared. Got
Rose out here again, just throwing fucking gems into the ocean.
Right. But there's been a few masterpieces. I mean,
shit. Even if you watch it again today, E.T. is still a great movie. E.T. is great.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, you would look at E.T.,
There's
Indiana
the
Jones.
2005 remastered one,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, you'd look at, like, Indiana Jones. You would look at Blade Runner. Blade Runner,
You're gonna hate me for this. I've never seen the Blade Runner movies.
and I am going to...
I need to see them, but I've never seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen snippets of the movies. Never seen the full thing.
So, both were really, really good, you know, because they had the original Blade Runner, which, to me, like, there's this... And I won't go into it too heavily since you haven't seen it, but
I'm confused, though.
cinematography is so well done.
Is Blade and Blade Runner the same thing, or do they...
So, Blade Runner, and then they had Blade Runner 2044 or something like that.
Okay.
And they're just years apart from each other. I forget how many years. But the funny thing is Blade Runners is connected to the Alien and Predator movies.
Oh, okay, so it has nothing to do with Blade, though. That's what I was asking.
Oh, so Blade, yeah, this has nothing to do with
okay, that's
Blade.
what I was
Blade
trying to
is
figure
its
out.
own vampire hunting.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
It's kind of like fucking...
It's
kind of like the Underworld movies. Kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I love the Underworld movies. Those are great.
Oh yeah, Underworld was good. It's just they got to a point where they should have stopped making fucking movies.
They should have left it while it was hot.
Yeah, because I mean, even like the newer ones where they were like trying to get in like the story, I was like, oh, I fuck with the story, but then they do a 180 back turn and walk the other fucking way, and I'm like, you motherfuckers!
You should have just left it while the getting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the chick in the movies was pretty hot, so that's what. She was pretty banging. Like,
yeah,
she was a vampire herself, though.
Yes,
she was just an anti-vampire. She just liked to kill the motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, no, it was a good film.
Yeah, and then you also have I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I can't fucking remember what it was now. Another good movie series. Oh no, that's what I wasn't talking about. I cannot wait for the new Spawn to come out. I'm so excited for that.
I am too, but at the same time, like, I am that person that, like, you know, I love DC. You know, I like some of what Marvel does, at least what they accomplished over time. But I'm just kind of wore out with, like, superhero shit.
Oh yeah, but doesn't mean you're not gonna watch it though.
I mean,
when it comes out,
I might. I mean, the thing is
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go to the theaters.
It's either gonna be on like Netflix, HBO, but it's not like I'm counting down the days to go see it.
My bitch ass is.
Yeah, me, I'm like, I think the only movies that I plan to go out and watch at least for this year is, I know the new Avatar's coming out, and I know my lovely wife would like to go watch that.
Oh yeah,
about 20 probably times, same as, you know, the last one. And then that's where it becomes dicey, because there's still a lot of movies that are coming out. Like, the only one where I'm like, I'm kind of interested, but then I'm probably just gonna wait until it appears on HBO Max, is the Superman movie.
The new Superman movie?
Yeah, because that's
aren't they having Henry Cavill in that one again?
No.
Or who's the one that's playing, not Henry Cavill? Who's the one that's playing the Superman currently? I can't remember his fucking name. Henry Cavill was the one that died, right? Yeah.
Well, no, he just got canned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking of the old Superman. Old. Excuse my... I have Alzheimer's. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stupid.
David Cornsweet.
What? Let me see this guy.
Yeah.
David Cornsweet.
I don't fucking know.
Who the fuck is that?
He's an actor.
No, he's like a Hollywood pretty boy.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that played in the last Superman movie? That was Henry Cavill, right? The last Superman, Man of Steel? The last major Superman movie? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Henry Cavill.
No, you keep on going. I'm just
Yeah, no, I'm thinking too, because I was just like, there's been so many Supermans, just like there's been so many Jokers, and there's been so many this and so many that. It's like, it's hard to keep track of all the. That's why I hate when they switch up actors so much, just because it's so hard to keep track of the major ones that played, crucial roles in a lot of our movies and like a shit that we grew up with and stuff. But I get it. They can't keep using the same actors all the time because then they get worn out and they fucking get hurt and bones broken and some of them get old and they can't do it no more. Like Hugh Jackman. Fuck, he ain't got much time left in him. He already said himself he's getting too old for this shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he maybe has a couple more movies in him than he's probably done.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's just the thing. It's just another variation of another person. I mean... We
could chop it up to being it's another Superman multiverse thing. It's another different dimension of Superman. You just chop it up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm just trying to really think of all the movies that are coming out this year.
Did you ever have a favorite like TV show that you still watch growing up?
I mean,
I did. I fucking loved Mythbusters, and I loved how it's made. I could sit for hours and watch how it's made. That shit would fucking you would amaze me with all the different things that they would do on there.
Right. I'm just trying to see where we're all. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, the movies I'll see this year, 28 years later.
Okay, yeah, I'm fucking with that. There you go. I forgot about that big one. That's a big one. How many years apart have we been waiting for that one?
Years.
Years and years, many moons. It's been a fortnight, several fortnights.
Then you got, of course, Avatar, the Fire and Ash or something like that.
Yeah, where we talk about the Fire Tribe.
Yeah. And then you got, I saw one, I'm not too sure if it's coming out this year or not, but the trailer for it looks interesting. It's called like the Long Walk.
Okay.
And apparently it's has Stephen King's name on it.
All right.
And pretty much, honestly, it looks like these kids sign up to go on this long walk, and they just can't stop. They have to keep a pace above 3 miles per hour, and if they stop,
do they fucking explode or something?
Military shoots them.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
What the fuck is this shit?
But I was like, oh, this looks like very interesting. Because the thing is...
long walk. And they have to walk a pace of 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, 3 miles.
And if they stop, or what if they trip?
Well, they count down from 3.
Oh, you got to get back up. Get back up and start fucking walking.
3 seconds.
So is this torture or a punishment? Were these some bad kids?
I have no idea, and I'm not gonna look too much into it.
The only time I would allow this if it's the fucking kids from Children of the Corn. That's the only. It's those fucking kids. Okay, but fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, then we have our Final Destination movies.
Yeah, yeah. The what is it? Final Destination 7. That's coming out 6 or 7. I know that.
Yeah, I mean we got the new Jurassic Park too.
Okay, I
mean it's their first rated R. I want to see where
rated R. Huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be rated R film. It's gonna be their first one.
It means it's gonna be bloody and gory, probably real gory.
Apparently, we have another Mission Impossible.
You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the new Avatar movie that's coming out with the Fire Tribe.
Yeah.
How much would I bet they're gonna be fucking firebenders or something?
They are.
Yeah. Fireballs. Lightning bolt. Fucking.
And that's just the thing. A lot of these movies here have been taken off the list because they even show Blade up here, but I thought they canceled Blade for this year.
Got you.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for some of these movies, but. Yeah. Most of them, I'm like, I don't really
I'll watch them when they're available for free. Yeah. I ain't gonna pay for them, but I'll watch them when they're free.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a new Zootopia. My daughter's gonna love that.
Yeah.
I mean, and Lilo and Stitch. That actually.
Yeah, the live action. Yeah. Dude, I'm excited for that, dude.
Oh yeah.
Mahalo me family. I don't know how to do a Stitch. Mahalo me family.
But yeah, I mean, we got some stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you when the second live action Lion King came out? Did you watch that one?
With Mufasa?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That was good. I also want to touch on there's a movie I want to talk about because I want your opinion on it. What did you think about Inception? That movie.
I fucking love Inception.
You did? You like that movie?
I mean, I would call that. I would place that in a top 10 for sci-fi, like 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even place that in like the top fucking 5.
I didn't watch that one. I've seen it. I didn't. That was on my list. I was supposed to watch that, but I didn't get to it. But I know it's a great fucking movie. I always, for some reason though, I always confuse these two movies, Inception and Interstellar. I always confuse those for some reason.
Yeah, but they're fucking both bangers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both long ass movies too.
yeah, they are. One was Matthew McConaughey, and the other was fucking what's her fuck or what's his fuck? I can't remember the actor.
Beeler.
Yeah.
Beeler.
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 What do you have for us, Spark Notes?
So...
God, we need to get us like a fucking Wi-Fi connected flat screen. That way we can fucking
just
to fucking coordinate our thoughts. Yeah.
Right. Inception.
Yes.
I think that was that was Leonardo.
Leonardo, bro.
Leonardo, the lion himself. That guy has been in so many good movies. Fucking, they had like the Wall Street one.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah,
that fucking movie was great.
It was a good one. But speaking of Inception, what's the fucking plot of Inception again? Remind me.
I mean, so Leonardo plays off as this thief with a rare ability to enter people's dreams and steal their secrets.
That's
from
right.
their subconsciousness.
Yeah, and he could like alter the environment around their dreams. And then there's the woman he's with that he teaches her how to do this and explains her, hey, you're currently in a dream state. You need to be careful who you interact with because if
their subconscious sets up its own like defense.
Yeah, and it'll make the NPCs essentially attack you.
Yeah,
because it thinks that there's something wrong with this.
Yeah, you're being like invaded. So no, that was a great
fucking movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean hands down like one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think that we if you could film a movie, make a movie about anything, any way you wanted to, with an unlimited budget.
What movie would it be?
Yeah, what would it be about? Where would you go with it? Sky's the limit. You got unlimited.
Oh, I know the sky's the limit. I'm just trying to think of this because, I mean, honestly...
I know I threw you a loaded-ass question right there.
Well, I mean, that, and I'm not a director, so that's the thing.
Well, just give me, like, what's, like, your favorite, like,
Honestly, like, we had good sci-fi films, and we got, like, good stories of, science fiction and stuff like that. And,
Let me see your phone.
Huh?
Let me see your phone. I'm just going to look something up while you're talking.
Oh, yeah. I would say what I would do is, see, we already had enough war movies. There hasn't been actually too much movies that had to deal with conspiracy cases that became true or are true. We haven't had too many good one of those movies.
Yeah.
I'd probably like direct one of those.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because we have like too much of everything right now.
Yeah. If it were me, I would direct a movie kind of like Signs, or more specifically, you've seen the movie Dark Skies, right?
Yeah.
I would direct a movie kind of like that, but I would make the extraterrestrials a lot more aggressive, and I'd make them a lot more like ugly looking. Yeah, a lot more like scary, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of like sinister, almost like demonish. And then you know, and I would make it kind of almost like a paranormal activity style movie that leads up into the weird, you know, alien activity where it's like weird lights and then, you know, shit moving, teleporting, you know, fucking, and then in Dark Skies when they start having the weird like almost like hallucinations and shit. And like, you know, and that's how I would direct a movie.
Oh yeah.
But I like dark, sinister shit, so that's where my brain automatically goes with like super dark, like, ooh, spooky. Spooky. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. Signs was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Signs was a great movie.
I mean, I think it was funny that the whole thing was like water was their greatest weakness.
Yeah, and that was a weird thing to me because it's like so you're telling me that the planet or world or galaxy they come from doesn't have no fucking water or nothing?
Yeah. No.
Everything that lives needs water, so it makes me wonder how the fuck does that work?
Unless it was like the whole Yakima water and it had like all the fentanyl and all that shit.
It just mutated these motherfuckers until there's nothing left.
I mean, I think we touched it up pretty good on
Yeah,
movies.
no, this was a great episode. We hit up a lot of movies, a lot of great TV shows. And personally, there's so many great ones that are currently coming out.
Potentially, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I hope they do stuff because Hollywood has this lackluster of like they'll come out with like some of like the greatest like movies that we've seen. You know, we had some of the greatest sci-fis, we had some of the greatest like horror films, and then now we got to a point where it's like we'll like reuse it and then reimagine it, and it's like, come on.
Well, you gotta remember too, when it comes to like Hollywood and the film industry, there was like 2 or 3 solid years where they were just putting out nothing but fucking clumpy turds, dude.
Oh yeah.
All the movies were fucking terrible.
Yeah, like
and they were all foreign movies. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying anything like, you know, foreigners are bad at making movies, but what I'm saying is like it's almost like Hollywood was just not producing any films. So all the films that were coming over were from other countries being pushed through big agencies like Miramax and HBO and all those big movie companies and show companies.
Yeah.
It was all, even Netflix was just full of garbage.
Oh yeah. The thing is like, I think the high point of cinema was when Pulp Fiction came out.
Yeah.
Because when that came out, that whole year of set of movies was just banger after banger after banger. That was a hard year at the Oscars for everyone.
Yeah.
Because there were so many great movies that came out. But now we kind of live where it's like...
You know what makes me laugh is the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio, isn't he one of the ones that still hasn't won an Oscar?
No, he's won an Oscar.
He's won an Oscar?
He finally got his Oscar.
He finally got his Oscar?
He finally got that golden trophy, bro.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He played in so many great movies in time where I was like thinking like, and this motherfucker was in Titanic, Gangs of New York,
Wolf of Wall Street, fucking...
You mean to fucking tell me this motherfucker hasn't got his gold trophy yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of... killer, but I mean, no, he does have that golden boy now.
Let's go through a quick list. Which big top actors have not won a fucking Oscar yet? I really want to know. Go.
Yeah.
Go. I really want to know which big actors have not won an Oscar yet, because that'll be fucking hilarious. Because there's so many that have been in amazing movies and have just been dissed by the Oscars and the Emmys and shit like that.
I mean...
Go, Gordon. Go. Read them out for me, bud. It's tough already,
Close, Rolf, I can't pronounce.
Let me see it.
But you got Edward Norton on there.
Okay, so we got Glenn Close, Ralph Fiennes, Edward Norton, Amy Adams, Annette Bening, Ethan Hawke. Really, Ethan Hawke. Sigourney Weaver, really? She hasn't won an Oscar even?
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, bro, hasn't won an Oscar?
You must have
Fuck, dude.
I got
for
more...
fucking the Hangover movies alone.
Nah,
He could have won a fucking Oscar, dude.
I don't know about those. They were funny though. I give them that. But they weren't Oscar worthy.
Dude, Jake Gyllenhaal has never won an Oscar.
Yeah.
That's fucked. I love him. He's been in so many great movies.
Well, I mean, look at Edward Norton. He's played in some, like, he's been in Fight Club. He's been in. This list is a lie. This was, put on for shits and giggles because you mean tell me the guy who was in
no
Fight
fucking
Club
way.
and all this?
Samuel L. Jackson has not won an Oscar yet.
Yeah, and he's been.
And he's made a big fucking stink about it too, because he's talked about it.
Well, I mean, he's been in like every fucking movie now.
Yeah, I mean, he always has a cameo in everything.
Yeah.
Okay, Bradley Cooper, yeah, her. Tom Cruise, bro, has never won an Oscar. It's because he's short. It's because he's 5'2". No, he's actually like 5'5" or something like that. But it's really fucked up because it's funny because people who have actually, I've heard about this like on other podcasts and like people who wrote stuff, people who have met Tom Cruise, the first thing they like when they meet him, they're like, "The fuck?
Yeah.
You almost are you a child?" Like,
Yeah.
Because on screen they make him look very tall.
Oh yeah.
So when you don't know any better and you meet this gentleman, you're like, I'm speaking to a child right now.
Yeah,
you're as tall as my son.
Yeah. No, it's.
Johnny Depp, bro? Johnny fucking Depp? Are you fucking shitting me? What the fuck is going on here? No. Johnny Depp has been nominated multiple times as Best Actor 3 times in a row, but has never won. He's got his first nod for Pirates of the Caribbean, Finding Neverland, but fell short next to Jamie Foxx. So Jamie Foxx won his fucking Oscar. I do not approve. I do not approve.
Well,
Fuck that shit.
Well, it depends on what time frame this was.
This was last updated in 2024 at the very end.
Yeah, because if Django
Ralph
Unchained
Fiennes,
came
yeah.
out, I could see
Silence of the
him
Lambs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs. Never won a fucking Oscar for that shit. That brilliant performance. That beautiful masterpiece.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get a ton of Keith being like, "This is fucking bullshit." Let me message.
Bill Murray, dude. Fucking Bill Burr. Oh my god, dude. This list is gonna make me fucking.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean,
granted, I don't give a fuck about any of these actors. I just do to think that they deserve a fucking stupid little trophy. It's like such disrespect.
Well, I mean, thinking about some of the movies that wouldn't be as good, without like Samuel L. Jackson, or same with Edward Norton.
Star Wars would have never been the same without Samuel L. Jackson.
Nah,
He was the perfect Mace Windu. Try to make anybody imagine Chris Tucker as Mace Windu. What's going on, man? I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
Anakin, take your motherfucking seat.
Yeah. I was just saying, I look at some of the movies that they were all in throughout their whole career, and some movies were just super high notes. I mean, even Tom Cruise, some of the Mission Impossible, or let's say
fucking Jim Carrey's never won a fucking Oscar.
Yeah,
I can smash your fucking phone.
Yeah, no, it's a shocker, man. But winning an Oscar doesn't mean
no, it really doesn't.
Your movie is a complete masterpiece, because you look at the Matrix movies. They were fucking ruined by fucking critics. The critics did not like the Matrix movies, and guess what? That movie is still used today for
school.
Yeah, for school.
For higher learning, the Matrix is used.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. It's not used in schools as how horrible is this fucking movie? It's
look at this fucking green turd. No, it's what's that analogy? It's an sigma of higher learning.
Yeah. So I mean,
fucking the fact that colleges use the Matrix for fucking school makes me laugh. Next. if I ever became a college professor, I'm using Jay and Silent Bob and Clerks to teach students somehow.
Of course you are.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But, I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we, cut this bad boy?
Honestly, dude, after seeing that list,
You're just gonna go home and just cry.
I'm just fucking annoyed because there is so many great actors on that list that I actually really like that haven't won a fucking Oscar, and they've been in better movies than some of the fucking ones that have. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just fucking outrageous to me. There's these dog shit ass actors that make these bullshit ass movies.
Are you gonna be okay going home?
Yeah, I'll be okay. You're gonna be with me.
Are you okay to drive? Fucking bullshit.
It's fucking.
This is for you, Leonardo.
Samuel Jackson. Why? Yeah, but no, that's pretty much. Dude, I feel like we've talked about. No, we haven't talked. This topic you could go on for years.
Oh yeah, I mean the list of movies keeps on going. I mean. You got your high notes of like scary movies. Jaws,
You started at Jaws, bro. That's not a scary movie. That's not scary. That's a shark movie.
Yeah, but
it's like Sharknado.
But for the time it came out, dude, it was a fucking good movie. There's no
It's still a good movie. I just don't classify it as a scary movie.
Yeah, well, now you don't, because now if you just, like, reverse the fucking film, it's just the shark just trying to help people bring back
you're like, I'm not trying to eat you. I'm trying to help you.
I'm trying to bring back your detached torso, man. Like,
I mean,
slow down.
What makes me laugh about Jaws is Robot Chicken has even made, the show Robot Chicken.
Oh, yeah.
They've even made a multitude of funny skits.
Oh, dude, you could make fun of all these good movies, though. You can make fun of Interstellar.
Yeah, you could.
That's it.
The bookshelf. He opens the book and it's just a pair of fat ass cheeks on the other side. We pull the book out and it's just Nikocado.
But I'm just saying, like, as in great movies as that, throughout time, you look at Jaws, you look at The Exorcist, you look at even like what was it called? It was a foreign film, but I mean it won a lot of Oscars.
Could you explain the film?
Not really. It was like Hidden Tiger, Crouching whatever. It was
Crouching Tiger.
Yeah, it was like it was a foreign film. I had to fact check myself real quick. I can't leave you guys on that.
Real quick, what did you think about the live action Mowgli movie? I just
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay, yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
I just recently rewatched the live action Mowgli movie, the Legend of Mowgli or whatever.
Yeah,
that wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It was kind of nice.
It's all right. Yeah. But I mean, the list goes on. I mean, who knows? We might do another part 2 later on in the future. Yeah. Just talk about movies.
I wonder what John would think about this. Like, if we actually got him on a part 2 of the culture of cinema, part 2. Yeah. What he would have to say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because he's been around the world longer than...
He's older than both of us.
Yeah.
He's walked with Jesus almost.
He's walked with Jesus.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, we have spent all of our knowledge and data and have spilled our movie load onto you. So enjoy. Grab a towel yourself off.
Yeah.
And get back to work.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
This has been the Dumpster Fire Podcast. The culture of cinema. Peace out, brothers.
Peace out.
And ladies.
And ladies.
Yeah, don't forget those beautiful ladies.
Hell yeah.